Yeah, that sounds better.
Yeah.
Would you like to do that?
Yeah, because that way I can bring it up. Because I remember I did this PowerPoint maybe like last month for my boss,
Mm-hmm.
and because he was doing one of these same exact things, and so he didn't end up using it, but I think it has some great information for the clients.
Oh, definitely then. So you stop time. We're gonna start streaming. Oh, thank you so much. No, it's perfect. Thank you so much. I'm gonna start streaming it to Facebook at 1 o'clock. So you have time. So if you want to take a drink of water, or if you want to go, step back and you come back at 1. You have time. But everything's working so far. If you want to try the screen share now,
Yeah, I was going to tell you, how do I go about that? Because I have it on my desktop. Do I go to my
screen share? It's a green button on the bottom.
Got it. Oh, okay.
And then you might have to just look for the file. So on top, it'll direct you basically for the file. So you can look for either on your iPhone or on the computer.
Oh, okay. I wonder if I should, because the computers we have, the laptops we have has our, it's linked to our computers back home. So what I did is I minimized it and saved it on the desktop. But let me see if I can save it on one of these.
What you do is you just open it up on your computer. So
okay, let me open it up.
And then press screen share, and it'll just share whatever's on your screen. So obviously you would minimize the zoom or move it aside, and then show your screen.
Okay, let me see.
You see, mine still doesn't have the name. I don't know why. It just keeps saying LIHB 14.
Do you want me to change the name? I think I could change the name.
Can you change it?
Yes. I'm going to put your name. Hold on 1 second.
There we go. Can you see this now?
Yeah.
You see it? Okay, perfect. All right, figured it out.
And I'm just going to, did my staff send you the script?
No.
Okay. There's really no script. I just introduced you guys. And I just say your name. So Michelle Abreu.
Yeah, you can say Abreu.
Mm-hmm. Abreu.
Yep.
And then if I could say my own name wrong. So don't please. And Maria Sanze.
Sands.
Sands.
Yeah.
Sands? Like sand or sands.
Sands.
Sands. Okay. Oh. Okay. Change it in.
There you go. All right.
So we have 5 minutes. Did you try the screen share?
Yeah. Let me do it again. Let me just make sure everything's working. And then I found it here. And then share. There, you guys can all see it?
Yeah, I see it.
Wait, where'd you get that? They didn't even know shirt. They gave me no shirt like that. No, I'm joking. Okay.
Your first name is Michelle too?
Mikhail.
Mikhail.
Oh, okay, Mikhail. I like that. See, if I would have had a girl, we could have named her Michaela.
So
that's what we'll call you from now on, okay?
My sister's name is Michelle. And born March 27th, and I'm born May 27th. So my mom said,
oh my goodness.
Names.
Wow.
We also have similar, when we were young, we had similar addresses, and then our socials are the same, except for numbers. So, people would, frequently, if she changed her bank account, or if, for instance, she moved, they transferred all her money my money into her account because they said, oh, look, the same name.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
oh my God, a hot mess. We see that a lot when we pull credits, and let's say it's a father and son, and one's a junior.
Yeah, especially father and son.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It can become a hot mess. Do you get a lot of turnouts for these forums?
Yeah, so it depends on the topic. You know, we had one forum where we had, you know, a great turnout. We had like 100 people. And there's some forums that we do, and you know, it's maybe 10 or 20. But what really builds the traction is later on people rewatch it.
Got it.
Watch it.
Yeah.
So, for instance, like we'll watch it and it'll have like 600 views when we actually record the video. But later on, you know, over the course of 3 days, they'll get 2,000, 3,000 views.
Gotcha. Okay.
I think this is going to be one of those, you know, well attended and well viewed videos.
Okay.
Yeah.
And me and Maria go back and forth with, you know, Maria is our foreclosure counselor. So she's really the one dealing with the homeowners. I deal more with the pre-purchase. So she has a lot of good insight. We've been on 100 million webinars that are ongoing. So things are always changing. It literally always changing. So yeah. So whatever we say today, tomorrow it could be something different, you know, so we'll make sure to tell the client that. Yeah.
But that's what they say.
There's been a lot.
Keeping in touch with your servicer is so important, because today they can offer you something and then tomorrow, oh, that changed. Now we can do this.
Yeah.
But it's just good that they at least, you know, they know where to go, you know?
Yeah.
They know that there's a free resource. Because unfortunately there are people out there who are trying to make money off of this.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And some people have been really hurt by COVID and they don't know. They're just not paying and they praying and saying, oh my God, oh my God. Well, there are things that they can do.
Okay, we're gonna start in a couple of minutes.
I had to close my door. I don't want anybody to walk in.
You can do that.
One of my kids pop up. I have 4 boys, so.
Oh, God bless you.
Yeah, I have my hands full.
I have 1 boy, 1 girl. And
Oh, that's what I have. They pretty adults by now.
oh, how old are they?
Oh my God, my daughter's 40 something and my son is 35.
Oh, yeah, adults.
But I got 4 grandkids
Oh, God bless.
and another one on the way.
Oh my God, you're busy. No, mine is still small. Well, I have a 17, a 16, a 10-year-old, and a 7-year-old. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, mine is still growing. They're little.
Okay. All right. It's just loading, so we're probably gonna go live soon.
Okay.
I'm just, you know, giving people time to just jump on. Okay. So we are live. So hello everyone. Hello. My name is Assemblywoman Mikal Salaj, and I represent the 22nd Assembly District. I want to thank you all for viewing this forum regarding mortgages and foreclosure assistance for homeowners. If you have been financially impacted by COVID-19, you may have concerns about your mortgage. Early in the pandemic, an executive order was issued by Governor Cuomo mandating all New York State regulated lenders and mortgage services to provide an opportunity for mortgage forbearance for 90 days and to postpone mortgage foreclosures if you are a homeowner experiencing economic hardship. And additionally, similar federal guidelines were issued as well. Today, we're here to learn more about what policies are in place and what is designed to help you, the homeowner. I am thankfully joined by the Long Island Housing Partnership. And they are a nonprofit HUD certified housing counseling agency with a mission to assist Long Islanders with all their housing needs. And so there's a lot of information, and our goal is really to keep you up to date of the recent changes. So organizations like Long Island Housing Partnership are doing important work for our homeowners, and we thank them. So thank you so much to our panelists. So today's topic will include protections for non-federal and federal mortgages, foreclosure forbearance, government homeowner policy for COVID-19, and much, much more. And additionally, you can post your questions on our Facebook page, and at the end, we'll be doing Q&A. So if you have any questions, just put them in the comments, and we'll try our best to answer them. Our panel is joined by Michelle Adu, right? Did I get that right? Michelle?
Yeah, close.
Okay. Director of Counseling, and Michelle Sanz, Director.
Maria Sanz.
Oh, Maria, excuse me. Maria Sanz.
Too many Michelles.
On my glasses because I'm not messing around, you know. You know, Maria Sanz, default prevention counselor, both with Long Island Housing Partnership. So we thank you for your participation in this virtual forum, and I will now turn the virtual mic to you. So, Michelle, Maria, you can.
Hi.
Hi guys. Like said before, we are from the Long Island Housing Partnership. We are both counselors. Maria handles a lot of our homeowners who might be experiencing some difficulties with their mortgage. We try to provide as much counseling and support to anyone who's having difficulties, or if you think you're going to have difficulties, we're here for you as well. With the whole COVID-19 situation, we've had a lot of homeowners reach out because they've lost their jobs or they were laid off or furloughed, and they can't make those mortgage payments. So there is assistance out there, and we just want to make sure that everyone's aware of the assistance, so you don't fall behind on your mortgage. There is some things you can do, which we're going to discuss in this presentation. Maria, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, I just want to add that even if they were behind already prior to this, they can still contact the lenders and the forbearance can be given to them. And let's say they fell behind in February. So it will start from February on.
Yeah, perfect.
And we can go through the whole
thing.
And
I think it's important to know that a forbearance is not automatic. A lot of people from hearing the news, thought that, oh, okay, everyone is automatically going to put us in a forbearance. I'm going to stop making payments, whether it's because you can't make them or you chose not to make them. But unless you're calling your servicer to get into a forbearance, it's not automatic. And you will be reported late to the credit bureaus if you're not technically in a forbearance or some workout solution. So that's very important, because we realized in the beginning that some weren't calling because they thought it was an automatic thing, and it is not. Okay.
Yeah, let me just say something. I was contacted by a few homeowners that say they can't get in touch with the lenders, let's say, especially if it's a credit union or something like that. But they have on their websites, there is a small tag there that it says COVID-19. They go on that and they'll be able to request it, because you have to, they're supposed to offer it to you, but the best thing for you to request it, whether it's in writing, emails, conversation, any which way you can.
And it's not late to put in a request. Let's say you haven't done it.
No.
You can do it now. You can still do it. If you are being affected by COVID-19, you can call right now. Let's say your hours just were minimized. You can definitely reach out to your servicer and ask to be put on a forbearance. I know my servicer, you had to go online and send them a message. And a lot of them were doing that because the lines were overwhelming. They couldn't pick up the calls. So the
Yeah.
best thing for you to do is to go online. And on your mortgage payment that you get, the letter you get every month, your statement, in your mortgage statement, their website is on there. And a lot of them have put language on there as well, where to reach out if you have been experiencing any difficulties due to the COVID-19. Okay. We do have a PowerPoint presentation that we put together. Just, you know, some people like visual learning. This is just to give you guys some points of the process and what's going on with the COVID-19 and what lenders are doing and who qualifies, who might not qualify, things like that. And Maria will be elaborating on a lot of the things. I'll read it out, Maria, and then you can elaborate
Right.
directly with the lender, with the homeowners. So I'm going to share my screen. All right. So this is what is the CARES Act, okay? So when it was first implemented, it started to just provide some relief for homeowners in general who were laid off, furlough, or just had to, you know, business owners who had to close down their businesses. So it was a new law, the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security, which in turn, that's what CARES comes from. It was an act that puts in place two protections for homeowners with federally backed mortgages. And I think that's something important and that we're going to repeat throughout this presentation is this CARES Act was put in place, but it was mostly protecting the government-backed mortgages. Unfortunately, those that were not government-backed, they were hopefully following these things, but technically they didn't have to follow the CARES Act. So keep that in mind, okay? The first thing of the CARES Act was your lender or loan servicer may not foreclose on you for 60 days after the March 18, 2020. Specifically, the CARES Act prohibits lenders and servicers from beginning any judicial or non-judicial foreclosure against you or from finalizing a foreclosed judgment or sale during this period. For those who are already behind on their mortgages and facing foreclosure, this put a stop to that. So all the proceedings were stopped and they couldn't go forward with foreclosing on your home. So it gave relief to a lot of homeowners who were currently in foreclosure, maybe putting in for a modification or a workout agreement. This just it froze everything so that the courts couldn't move forward, allowing you time to recover. Second, if you experience a financial hardship due to the coronavirus pandemic, you have a right to request and receive forbearance on their mortgage payments for up to 6 months, with the option to extend for additional 6 months, I think it says there, with a total up to 1 year, as well as the option to discontinue the forbearance at any time. Keep in mind, this is not for all servicers, all right? This is very particular to government-backed lenders. So that's very important to know. I realized when I called my servicer that they are not a government backed. So they still offered, you know, forbearances and things like that, but it wasn't with the same rules in place as the CARES Act. So that's important to know, all right?
Let me interrupt, Michelle, because people might be asking, what is government backed? Those are the Fannies, the Freddies, FHA, agriculture. Those are the mortgages.
Yes.
And you can find out by asking your lender, or if you go to your closing papers, it will tell you what it is.
Yes. Yeah, it's very important. There are some tools that we give you in the end of this PowerPoint of websites you can go on and you can check if your loan is governmentally backed as well. But just have a conversation with your servicer. They'll tell you right off whether you do fall under this or if you don't. They say about 70% of loans fall under government back, but it could be you fall under the 30% and not have this backup, all right? But as you see here, you must contact your loan servicers also to request that forbearance, like I mentioned earlier. You do not need to submit any additional documentations to clarify other than your claim that you've been affected by by COVID-19, okay?
Right. They might send you an acknowledgement after you request it, and then that you sign and send it right back to them.
Correct.
But it will tell you what your forbearance is going to be, how long is it going to start with, but please open your mail because it will come in an envelope, and I know people get afraid and open their mail, and your forbearance might be in one of those envelopes.
Yes. Yeah, it's very important. Maria says it all the time. People just don't open up the mails, whether they're scared for what they're going to read or they think it's the same thing being sent. You
Oh,
should
no.
always open up mail, especially if it's coming from your mortgage company. Okay. Homeowners who are facing foreclosure, like I said before, you really didn't have to do anything. If you were already in foreclosure and going through that process, everything was halted with the CARES Act. But you will get notices, right, Maria? They're gonna let them know when.
Yeah, if you had a court date, they will let you know. You can go to the court website, what is www.newyorkcourts.court, and they will tell you when it was changed for. But right now, the moratorium has been extended till August 31st because forbearances are not, not forbearances, I'm sorry, foreclosures are not deemed the most important things in the courts. So they held up now till August 31st. That's what the moratorium is.
Yes. That's a protection for those that were already in foreclosure, that were going through the court process. There's a little halt on that until August. The end of August, Maria?
August 31st, yes.
Yeah, so the end of August 31st. We don't know if they're going to extend that again. This is forever changing. That's something we need to state. That's the disclosure we're stating up front. What we're going over today can change tomorrow. They're always changing things as the time goes. They might even extend that again. So just, you have to pay attention to the news. You need to pay attention to the mail you get, and stay on top of this as well, okay? So this is also if a homeowner is subject to initiation of foreclosure proceedings, a continuation of foreclosure proceeding, or a foreclosure-related eviction within the 60-day period beginning March 18, they should contact their servicer immediately. But like we said, there's been an extension on that. Okay. If servicers are unresponsive or continue to be non-compliant, homeowners can contact the relevant federal agency or entity that is backing their mortgage or seek out legal assistance. Okay. But I think a lot of them are being responsive.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
They are.
So I don't think.
And you can also reach out, if it is a Fannie, you reach out to Fannie Mae. If it's an FHA, you can reach out to FHA.
Yeah.
All those numbers are going to be at the end of the presentation.
All right. Now, who is eligible, all right, for this new bill, okay? So this pretty much states what it is. The homeowners with federally backed mortgages, and like Maria said, those are the Freddie, the Fannies, the FHAs, the rules, those are all fall under the federally backed mortgages, are eligible for assistance under this bill. Federally backed mortgages are defined as mortgages for single family homes that are purchased or, what does that say? Secret, I can never say some word, secret.
I don't see it. I gotta put.
Well, by Fannie and Freddie, okay? Insured by FHA, the Federal Housing Administration, including reverse mortgages or home equity conversion mortgages, which are HECMs, guaranteed directly provided by or insured by the Department of Veterans Affairs. Those are VA loans, guaranteed directly provided or insured by the Department of Agriculture, that's the USDA, yeah, or guaranteed under HUD's Native American or Native Hawaiian Home Loan Guarantee Programs. So that says it right there. Those are the loans that are government-backed, federally government-backed loans. So if you know you have any of those types of loans, and if you don't, you can easily contact your servicer. You know that they have to offer you that forbearance if you've been affected by the COVID-19. Okay. Now, homeowners that do not know whether their mortgages fits the definition should reach out to the mortgage servicer and find out. Your mortgage servicer is the company that sends you the mortgage payments to each month. For context, like I said before, 70% of mortgages in the current market are federally backed.
And as I'm sorry, as you had said, it doesn't have to be that you were directly hurt by COVID-19. It could have been anybody in your house. Could be that you have less hours. One of your kids got sick. Anybody, could be indirectly. It doesn't have to be directly to the person that's on the loan.
Correct. Especially, let's say you have someone that lives in the home with you that helps you with even with utilities or helps you pay the mortgage, and they lost their job. Even though you're still working, you can still apply for this. Okay. Yes. Anything. As long as when you call, you're gonna say I've been affected by COVID-19. All right?
And there's no documents needed. You don't have to sign it. I mean, you don't have to submit anything. They will offer just by you saying that you've been affected by it.
Correct. All right. And then although homeowners with mortgages that are not federally backed are not technically covered under the CARES Act, some lenders are voluntarily allowing the relief they are providing with the relief provided for the federally backed mortgages. So it is still possible that homeowners without federally backed mortgages will have access to similar relief. But you do have to reach out to your servicer to find out what they are offering. Okay. I found out my servicer was not government backed, so they were offering a forbearance, but with a balloon payment at the end. I don't know if that's changed because I just called just
It
right
will.
now.
It will.
Yeah.
They will just put it. They will do a claim, a partial claim. Even if you don't have an FHA, they'll probably do a modification. They will do it to you at the end, but they will do a payment plan if you can afford that.
Correct. And I called for knowledge. I wanted to see, because I knew mine wasn't government backed and all we were hearing were about government backed.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to see what a non-government backed mortgager was going to provide. And that's all they were provided at the
I
time.
have a lot of customers that they're not government backed and they will offer the
Yeah.
forbearance.
Yeah. So like I said, if you haven't done it already for fear that maybe you wouldn't get approved, it's not about getting approved. As if you've been affected with COVID-19, you will automatically be approved for forbearance. Okay. All right. And then a lot of people don't know what a forbearance is, and it's a lot of miscommunication of what it is. In the beginning, with all the news, people just said, oh, forbearance, automatically, those payments are going to be put in the back of the loan without it being an actual truth. Forbearance always existed. It was always an option for just normal people in general who might have lost their job temporarily, things like that. So we just want to define, this is nothing new with COVID-19. It's just they changed how they offer it under the CARES Act. But this is one of the options that's always been available to homeowners, okay? So forbearance is when your mortgage servicer or lender allows you to pause, suspend, or reduce your mortgage payments for a limited period of time while you regain your financial footing. So this was usually, let's say I was working and all of a sudden I got laid off, but it was a layoff maybe for a month or two. So I knew I was going to go back to my job, or I knew I would get employment right away. This was an option for me, okay? Forbearance doesn't mean your payments are forgiven or erased, okay? And that's very important to know. Okay, you are still required to repay any missed or reduced payments in the future. Okay, make sure you understand how the forbearance will be repaid. There can be different forbearance programs or options depending on the type of loan. And like you've heard Maria say before, some are putting it at the end of your term. So if you have 25 years left on your mortgage and in 6 months, now you're going to have 25 years and 9 months left on your mortgage because they're going to add it towards the end. Right. Some that are not government backed might say no. At the end of the forbearance, it's like, our normal forbearance. You're going to owe the full amount. Okay. Because normally a forbearance was just that. They would give you a pause for 3 months, but at the end of the 3 months, you either had to apply for a modification if you still weren't working, or come up with those 3 months payments all in one shot. Mm-hmm. So it has changed for the government backed ones with this COVID-19 CARES Act. Our forbearance is not automatic. And I've mentioned that before. A borrower has to contact their mortgage company to request a forbearance, and if they have been affected by COVID-19. The mortgage company information can be found on your billing statement. And depending on who owns your mortgage will determine the terms of your forbearance. Okay, Maria, like you've seen different offers. What is the most common offer?
Right now, everybody's getting the 60 days or the 90 days forbearance. When they explain what the forbearance is going to entail, some of them, they telling them, well, you're going to have to repay this. Mm-hmm. They just not telling them that, no, you don't have to come with a lump sum. Some that are not FHA, mm-hmm. if you have your taxes and your insurance being taken out, they might just take that and say, all right, guys, you owe us $3,000 that we have paid out for you in taxes and insurance. They will take that amount and split it only in 5 months. So that will make your mortgage payment go up. But that's why we say, if you can make a payment towards your escrow, even if you cannot make your full payment, but pay the escrow, that way you will not be hit with this at the end.
Yeah.
FHA will put everything on the partial claim. Yeah. It's called a standalone partial claim.
Yeah, FHA they've come up with a few other options with the COVID-19.
Mhm.
It's a lot more helpful for homeowners facing difficulties paying their mortgage. But the other ones each one has come up with their own.
Yeah, different. And as we said before, everybody's different. As far as I know, Fannie and Freddie are not including the taxes.
Yeah.
They do their modification or the claim or the balloon that they do at the end. They cannot add it to the end of the mortgage. So it'd be best if you can pay that as you go along.
And we tell our clients all the time, you're in a forbearance, but if you can pay a payment, pay it, even if it's partial. Because let's say you have a non-federally backed loan and they're going to ask for that balloon payment. It'll be a lot less that you have to come up with, or they might put you in a repayment plan where they'll spread whatever you didn't pay into your other payments. So the more you've paid, the better, you know?
Yes.
So just keep that in mind. And like Maria said, some of them at least pay your escrow. You know, you can send a payment just towards your escrow. A lot of these online, I know I paid my mortgage online and it gives me the option, you know,
Right.
for only
So
principal.
make sure you put escrow so they know where it's got to go.
Yeah. All right. Let's see what else we got. All right. Who should be applying for forbearance? Pretty much simple. If you're facing short-term financial hardship as a result of COVID-19, if you're concerned about falling behind on your mortgage payments, or even if you already missed 1 or 2 payments, you should be applying for forbearance. Okay.
And you can stop your forbearance at any time. It doesn't have to be the 60, 90, 120 days for the whole year. No,
Yeah.
you can
Let's
stop
say-
it at any time.
Exactly.
Just give yourself a little cushion. If you start work tomorrow, don't call them up and say, hey, I can start working tomorrow. I can make. No, give yourself a little cushion because you never know what's going to happen.
Exactly. It's very important. You always want to have, as a homeowner in general, you usually want to have at least 2 months of mortgage payments in a reserve
Cushion.
account for reasons like this. Things can always happen. All right. All right, my computer. There we go. How to ask for forbearance. And we've mentioned this already. Pretty much call your servicer.
Yeah.
That's how you ask for forbearance. This is a whole bunch of language here, but straight up, just call your servicer. And don't be scared to call your servicer. And if you can't get through to them, it's just a matter of logging on, and all your statements, your billing statements, should have a website for you to, and a lot of them actually created specific, you know, links in their websites for COVID-19 affected people. I went into mine and it was right there. They want you to message them. They did everything through message, and then they send you the letter, but it was something automatic. So you can just ask your servicer or log on to their website, and they can start the forbearance period. Okay. Here I put ask what happens when a forbearance period ends. I know when I first spoke to my servicer, it was in the beginning of when this all, you know.
Yeah, they were putting everything in place.
Yeah. And a lot of the people really didn't have the answers, to be honest. It was new to them as well. I was going in it just to get more information because I knew clients would start coming into our door and I wanted to be prepared. But they weren't very helpful in the beginning. I don't know if Maria, if you're experiencing they're a lot more helpful now. But
they are because they're getting more and more information, especially those that have to do it because they are GSE, they are FHA, etc.
Yeah. Mine, when I asked, oh, is this going to be a balloon payment in the end? She's like, oh, I'm not sure when you get the letter. And when I did get the letter, it said balloon payments. All right, thank you. And I called them, I made sure to let them know I did not want a forbearance because I was calling for informational information, and I didn't want them putting me on a forbearance because thank God, you know, we've been able to keep our jobs at the partnership. So I was able to continue making my mortgage payments. But I was surprised when I saw, wow, so 3 months, and then at the end, I have to come up with all this money. It wasn't a help whatsoever. So I'm glad that the CARES Act is allowing for other services to follow suit that are not federally backed, and realizing that it's not realistic to ask somebody who hasn't been out of work.
That's why now, when you did it was kind of early, but now they will tell you, well, if you cannot come up with the money, then you have to apply for modification. Just keep in mind that some people had the most modifications already.
Yeah.
3, that's the magic number. You have 3, that's it.
And I was about to mention that, Maria, thank you. If you have applied for modifications in the past and you're applying for forbearance now, do what they're telling you to do in this forbearance, because if you decide to prolong it and then apply for modification, which would be the only other option if you can't come up with that money, let's say for someone who's not federally backed, if you already have had numerous modifications in the past, you might not get another one. Especially if you're still unemployed, your income is not going to be enough for them to actually even give you a modification. So you have to be very careful, because then you can fall into foreclosure, okay, which is, I think, what we're trying to avoid people to get.
And that will happen even if it is an FHA or Fannie. You need to prove to them that going forward, and they give you the partial claim, that you are able to make your payments. If you cannot prove that you can make your payments to them, then you're going to have to see what happens.
So it's important you guys understand that a forbearance, this is just a short-term help. If in the long run, if you're not able to get employed again for a longer period of time, past, I believe, another 6 months that they're extending this for, if you're still unemployed, then you're gonna have to apply for modification. But keep in mind, they're not gonna modify your loan and change the terms and everything if your income is not enough to do that, okay?
Right, that's like, they call it a hierarchy. It's like the full reinstatement at the end of the forbearance. There's a repayment plan. There's the COVID-19 payment deferral. There's also something called the extended modification for disaster relief. Capitalization, that's when they take everything and put it at the back end of your mortgage.
Yep.
And then there's a flex modification that they just put everything in there. They give you a number, and for all of this, after the forbearance, documents will have to be submitted. That's what I tell you. You have to be able to make those payments, because if they see what you make and they see the amount of your mortgage, they are not going to give it to you.
Yeah, and that's important for you guys to understand, because right now, to get the forbearance, you don't have to show anything. There are some people who are taking advantage, to be honest, that they can't pay their mortgage and they're getting on a forbearance, thinking they're going to get a free ride, or, they're going to, keep
see what they can get out of it.
Yeah. And there's one thing I want to express here. Okay. With your credit. Okay. When you go into any type of workout plan, and a forbearance is a workout plan, your credit report, they put a little note in there that says that you're in whether it's a forbearance or something, or you've been affected by a natural disaster and not making payments. And even though it's not giving you a negative credit score, it can affect you if later on you want to refinance, or you want to take out a home line of credit, equity line of credit, because they take that information like, oh wait, they couldn't pay for that period of time, so that can affect you later down the line. It's not going to affect the score, but it can affect you with a lender later on.
Yeah, some will put it, some will not. The only thing is that once you make 3 payments already, then that will kind of fade away.
Yeah, like that's why I called my servicer right away when I got that letter. I'm like, listen, I'm not taking this forbearance, so don't notate my file, don't do nothing. You're getting your mortgage payments, no problem, because that's we've been hearing on a lot of webinars and things like that could be a negative effect if later on you're looking to sell your home or refinance or take out a line of credit. So that's important to know. So for those that are just thinking they can get a forbearance, even though you can afford to pay your mortgage, there are some negative effects of that. Okay. You want to document everything with your lender as well. Because later on, if you do have to submit paperwork, just keep in mind, you're going to have to submit tax returns, pay stubs, bank statements, you name it, you're going to have to submit it, okay, to apply for a modification. And that's when we come into play, going to a HUD certified counseling agency that provides this kind of services, this type of counselings. That's where we would help you in submitting for a modification at that time to make sure everything is filled out correctly. Okay. All right. So what happens at the end of the forbearance? All right. And we touched base on this a few times already. The CARES Act doesn't specifically say what happens once the forbearance period ends. That's been changing, Maria, if you agree, a few times of what happens at the end of the forbearance. Right now we mentioned the federally backed ones will put it at the end. They can do a repayment plan depending on your situation. But those that are non-federally backed loans, a lot of them are doing the balloon payment, okay, with the 3 months arrears. And if you can't afford that balloon payment, then you have to apply for modification, and then they'll see what you might get. Some might follow the rules of the federally backed of the CARES Act and allow you to put it at the end, do a partial claim, just like FHA does. But that's a conversation you have to have with your servicer. If you need assistance with that, like I said, reach out to a HUD certified counseling agency and we can all assist in that as well. Okay. But that's forever changing because this has changed since this first started. Okay, what's the next one? All right, these are some frequently asked questions. Will the monthly mortgage payments that are reduced or suspended under COVID-19 forbearance need to be repaid? Yes, nothing's free.
No free lunches.
No, no, no. The lender is not giving you, non-payment. Say, okay, we'll take it, no problem. No, yes, you have to definitely, some way or another, you're paying those months back. Okay. So like we said before, for those that think this is a free ride, is definitely not a free ride to not make mortgage payment. Okay. So a homeowner who receives the COVID-19 National Emergency Forbearance is responsible for repaying the suspended mortgage payments or the balance of reduced mortgage payments. Your mortgage servicer can help you determine your options for eventually repaying any suspended mortgage payments or in the balance due as a result of reduced mortgage payments. Your servicer will not charge you late fees or penalties.
That's important. Keep an eye open for that.
Yep. So make sure when you're looking at your mortgage statement that they're not charging you late fees or penalties. Usually what you see is the charge of it and then it being put back in. Like I noticed that on some mortgage statements, they would charge the late fee and then right underneath it, you see it going back in. They reduce it, they reverse it. Okay, so don't get scared when you see something like that. But they shouldn't be charging you any late fees. They shouldn't be charging you any penalties if you are under the forbearance protection of COVID. All right, next one. Educate and prepared. Okay, so as you explore your options and make the right choice for your unique financial situation, talking to a housing counselor early can help you develop a plan for restructuring your bills and managing your debt. I think Maria sees it more, people, this has all been a life-changing just for everyone. Okay, a lot of us are working from home. A lot of us some you might have gotten reduced pay, reduced hours, things like that. Those self-employed people lost a lot of business. So it's about rebudgeting everything in general to get you back on track. So if you have been in a forbearance, hopefully you've been able to keep up with your other things, but it's just a matter of restructuring your budget so that when you're back to work, you're able to start making your mortgage payments.
Michelle, now that you spoke about all the things, we also this was something that it might change, but you also have the ability to call your utilities company, your credit cards. Most of them are working.
Yep.
Like your insurance company, they might give you a credit of $100.
Mm-hmm.
The utility bills, they will help you. They will do like a budget plan. They will do a payment plan. So if you're having problems with reach out to them.
Yes.
Don't ever be afraid. Just reach out.
Correct. Especially with your car. With your car, I know for a fact, you can call and they'll do a forbearance too. They'll, if you're, even if you're leasing, they'll extend the terms of the lease. You still have to return the car and still pay it at the end, but it's a way to provide some relief. Credit card companies are more than willing, especially the major ones. You go on their website, they all have links. If you've been affected by COVID-19, a lot of them are suspending payments for 2 to 3 months. I believe you can even get extensions on that. Just keep in mind, interest is still accruing. Okay,
yeah, they're not like the banks that are not charging.
And some of them, I know some lenders in particular are even allowing you to do credit limit increases to give you a little bit more to work with. You can still use your credit cards. That's another misconception. Even if you get an extension and you get let's say a forbearance for your credit cards, you can still use your credit cards, but you have to be smart. You have to be smart in what you're doing because like I said, you're still accruing interest on them. Okay, and you still can't go over the limit. So sometimes you might want to request a credit increase. And I've noticed that for some clients, it's easy to get a credit increase because everyone's in the same boat. But like Maria said, utilities, you can call. Don't feel scared to call anybody. You got to pay at the end of the month.
They tell you in the bills, look at it, the bill, like I know Optimum does.
Yep. Verizon, yep. I see it. I just paid my Verizon bill. And the first thing that popped up is, have you been affected by COVID-19?
Yeah, you can change your pay day. Let's say if you pay usually on the 15th and you have too many payments, you can tell them, I would like to have it on the 30th.
Correct.
And they will work with you.
Yeah. So don't be scared to reach out to anybody. There's also a whole bunch of food services out there too that are providing free food, like pantries and things like that. A lot of the churches. You just have to pretty much see through whoever the township is. You know, you contact town hall, whatever. Hey, where they're giving away, you know, free food, because I see people, they get boxes with fruits and vegetables and canned goods. You know, there's a lot of resources out there that people should explore. All right, what else we got here? All right, these are the resources that we spoke of before. These are if you don't know what type of mortgage you have, Fannie Mae has a lookup tool, Freddie Mac has a lookup tool. You can also go on the mortgage electronic registration system. Okay, you can contact, and then these are the other tools. You can contact a HUD-approved housing counselor like ourselves. And also the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau has some great information and resources that you guys can use as well. All right, but the main goal of, I believe, of this forum is just to get the information out there to homeowners who are having difficulties or have no idea what the resources are out there. There's lots of resources, but the first step, you definitely have to reach out to your servicer, to your mortgage broker, to your mortgage lender, and say that you've been affected, so you can at least get on that forbearance. And then as things change, you'll be better educated on what your options are going to be towards the end. And we're here to help you as well with those options once those come up, and we can see what's the best way to go about things.
I was gonna say leave that screen up.
Oh, leave it up? Okay, wait, you put it back up. Hold on.
And the question is there a list of housing counselors in Nassau County?
There is. You go into HUD.gov right here, the contact the HUD-approved housing counselor, you put your zip code. You go in there, you put your zip code. Let me see, am I able to access it? It'll take me away from this, so I don't want to access it.
Yeah.
And you put your zip code, and it'll bring up all the agencies.
All the agencies.
Yeah, and then there are a few here on Long Island. I think there's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 5, I think. We got us.
There's like 4 in Suffolk County.
Yeah, and I think there's 2 or 3 in Nassau. But the good thing is, it doesn't matter where you live. We service all of Long Island. All the agencies service all of Long Island. You know, and if you're on here and you happen to be in any of the boroughs, same thing. Go onto the HUD website, the HUD.gov website, and type in your zip code, and I'll tell you which is the closest agency to you, whether it's Queens, you know, things like that. They provide the same services as well.
Michelle, Maria, thank you so much for that excellent presentation. Even I learned a lot from this. So we just really appreciate your knowledge. And we encourage everyone to put your questions in the comments. Any questions, just put in the comments. Make sure that you don't put too much personal information, because we know that every situation is different. But if you have general questions, global questions, we are here to answer them. Some of the questions that came up aside from that is, you know, as you said before, there's no free lunch. Yeah. And there was an interpretation before that, you know, mortgage payments can be canceled, but unfortunately the federal government is not really moving on that. So what would you recommend a homeowner do if they are still unemployed, they're unable to find payment, or they can't work because they're a vulnerable population because of COVID-19? Aside from a modification, is there any grant money? Is there any sort of you know, initiatives out there that can help them?
I haven't heard of any grant monies available. I know, I think in the last CARES Act, they would, what is it, part 3? I think they were trying to I can't keep track, to be honest. They were trying to work that, canceling mortgage payments and things like that, but that never passed. So unfortunately, if you're still unemployed at the end of the extensions, you do have to reach out to the servicer to see what your options are, because each servicer, each lender is different. So they might offer a different option. I'm sure we might get more information. As of right now, we haven't gotten any additional information.
Right now, all they say in us, their 4th, you know, transitional thing.
Yeah.
So foreclosure, you can write it out and see what happens.
But I'm sure there's gonna be more information regarding that, because just like you said, COVID-19 is not going away. It's gonna be around for a while. And there's still people that are vulnerable. They can't return to work for whatever reason. They might have lost their job completely. And to get a job after this is going to be very difficult. So I'm sure something's going to come up, but as of right now, they're just extending things to allow people more time.
Yeah.
So that's what's in place as of today.
You can minimize the screen.
Oh, okay. Yeah, good. All right.
So we're gonna jump into the Q&A.
Okay.
And so it was mentioned before, you said, and you said several times, and it's worth repeating. If you can make a payment, make a payment.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so really it's just worth repeating, what are the options? So if someone just has, a little bit of money that they had an emergency fund to pay mortgage payments, what would you recommend that they do?
Yeah.
Request a forbearance. I will request a forbearance because it's not, you have very limited money. There are other things that you need to pay, that you need to keep, even though the utilities are giving you a break, but you also have to eat. So those are things that you do have to do. The forbearance will help you. As I say, you can always pay a little bit towards your mortgage payment. That way you're doing the effort and they see it.
Yeah.
And especially pay those escrows. Those are,
Yeah, I would make at least a partial payment, just like Maria said. If you have a little bit of money, but it's the only money you have, then I would at least make a partial payment. Let's say you're collecting unemployment right now, take advantage of the $600 extra you're getting every week.
Yeah.
And try to at least out of 2 months, make 1 full month, so that you're not 3 or 4 months behind, you're really only 2 months behind. Because if you're in a forbearance, what happens is if you make a payment while in the forbearance, they put it aside, they hold it. It's called suspended payment.
Account.
Yeah. So what happens at the end of the forbearance, they now move that money to what you owe, and now it's a lesser amount that you owe. It's a lesser amount you have to come up with, if that's the point, or a lesser amount they put at the end. It's just better overall for you. But you don't want to make that mortgage payment if you don't have enough food to feed your children or pay other important things. But you have to request a forbearance. If you decide just not to make that mortgage payment or send half of it and you're not in a forbearance, then it puts you in arrears. You get late fees. You're going to be reported negatively to the credit bureau, and that's what you want to avoid.
And eventually will go to foreclosure.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I would get in a forbearance even if you think you're going to be able to make it, just to cover yourself. Because if for any reason you make it after the 15th and you get that late payment assessment, if you're in a forbearance, you can still make it after the 15th and not have to pay that late payment fee. Okay.
Correct. And they can, some people don't feel comfortable about sending half a payment.
Mm-hmm.
Save it.
Yeah.
Save your money. Put money away. Put a little fund on the side. This is for my mortgage. That way, that will be you making your mortgage current at the end of the forbearance. But don't go out and spend it in pretty little things.
Don't go Amazon crazy since you're home.
Exactly.
It's definitely, what you said about budgeting is very important.
Very.
Realizing how you spend and spending it right during this crisis, during this pandemic. So far, as of June 18th, which is today, we haven't heard anything about the extension of any sort of evictions or the eviction moratorium.
Yeah, till the 31st of
August.
It's only till the 31st of August. But you mentioned during the presentation that someone who is even in foreclosure, they're in foreclosure, they're in the process, maybe they didn't have their settlement conference yet. Mm-hmm. What recourse do they have? Like, what can they do at this point? Do you think
they have to wait? They can do right now. They have to wait till they have their day in court. Right now, the courts are not giving preference to foreclosures. They are non-essential. They are not their priorities. So they're going to have to wait. If they have an attorney, they can reach out to the attorney. The attorney will know when has the court date has been postponed, and you will get a letter. You can always call the courts. They will tell you what day, or you can go to the court website and find out when has your court date been postponed for. And you can always try to request a loan modification. I have lots of homeowners that are already finished with the settlement costs because at that moment they could not afford the house. But then there's been some changes, and now they can afford it. Oh my God! And now what I do? I'm not in. Even if you've been court in front of a judge, the house is yours. It is sold on a foreclosure sale. So you can, as long as you have 35 to 41 days prior to a foreclosure sale, you can apply for modification. Little change, more money coming in, extra hours. One of your kids graduated and have a part-time job. All that accounts to money coming in.
Yeah. So if they're currently they were already in foreclosure, everything's just on a standstill. So I would tell them continue saving their money. So because one of the options might be, okay, if you pay this amount, then we can reinstate the loan, things like that. So we would tell them keep saving your money. If you know you really can't afford it, just start preparing to have to, move on, and figure that part out. But right now, everything's on a standstill till the end of August.
Yeah.
I know that you mentioned before, open up your mail, which, it's a frequent issue.
Very important.
Stimulus, debit cards. People were getting it and not realizing that.
Throwing it out. Yeah.
Throwing it out. And I know that the federal government also submitted an after letter saying, hey, you got your stimulus debit card in the mail prior. And so really what you said is so important, just opening up your mail. But what is the recourse? What happens if you don't open up your forbearance letter? You submitted a request for forbearance and then you just didn't open up the letter and didn't engage. Like what happens?
If you had a sign for and you didn't sign it, they're just gonna close the file.
Mm. Yeah, because some lenders, not all, require you to sign the letter and send it back. Whether you scanned it and uploaded it into their website or something, they might have required that. Some might have not required anything, and you're automatically, once you apply for it, you would have been in the forbearance. But if it required a signature, then they were never put on the forbearance. All those payments they didn't make, it could just be reported negatively to the credit bureau.
Right, and on the letter, you will find out how long is your forbearance for, or if it ends in 90 days, and then you can request another one.
Mm-hmm. It has instructions.
It could be 180 days, and then after 180 days, oh, well, what do I do? Because this is going to go back to February. So let's say you didn't pay February, March, April, May, and June. You're already in your 5th month. You're almost eating out those first 6 months. So you need to find out if your mortgage will give you those extra 6 months.
Yeah. And some mortgage companies, if you log on to their website and you have an account set up, you can sometimes see what correspondence they sent you. They sometimes keep that. So if you think you might have gotten a letter and maybe threw it out, if your computer swapped it, you go in there and go into your account if it's set up already and see what documents have been sent to you. But it's important, guys. Open your mail.
And it could also be a letter from Riverhead telling you when is your settlement conference or when is your next date.
Yeah, if you were behind on your mortgages previously before this all happened and going through the process, they might have sent you a letter from the courts already as well.
I find it fascinating that you said that it could possibly affect your ability to get monies or be lended to later on.
Yeah.
The interpretation that I felt was like, oh, it was almost like free money. Like you could do a forbearance initially, when this first started happening in February, March, the notices were coming up and it seemed like, oh, we can just make it disappear, but that's to mention it does have a negative, or it might have.
But it doesn't have a negative impact on your credit report.
On the score.
It doesn't hurt your score.
Yeah.
But not all companies are going to do this.
Yeah.
But some of them might put a note, forbearance, COVID-19 forbearance.
Mm-hmm.
So unless you start making payments and make 3 payments, this is going to hurt you if you want to refinance, if you sell, you want to buy, or if you want to buy a second home, a vacation, or anything that you want to do. Even your credit with the credit cards, it might reduce the amount. They might not lend you any more money because they're going to say, always remember the 3 C's of credit.
Yeah.
So right there, you have no capacity.
Yeah. Yeah. It's important because we've been on a few webinars and they've mentioned that. In the last webinar, Maria, remember they mentioned that they'll put a remark on there. Like Maria said, not all of them, but that little remark holds so much value
Yeah.
You know, they're not reporting you late. It's not affecting your scores, but that little remark, a lot of people, the rates have dropped tremendously with this whole COVID. So to get a loan now, the rates are phenomenal. So a lot of people are coming out of the forbearance saying, hey, you know something, let me refinance now. I'm back at my job. You know, everything's great, you know, and I want to refinance because the rates drop a whole percent of what I have now. So when they go to refinance and that little remark is in their credit report, that's going to put a stop in them being able to refinance. So it can hurt you with the lenders.
And you can check your credit report weekly now.
Yes.
Used to be once a year with my free credit report. Now it's weekly through all this COVID-19.
Yeah.
That way you see if you went in for Birmingham, they put the little note or whatever.
Yeah.
And check your score weekly to make sure, because there are a lot of scams out there right now. Horrible. You have to see the calls that I get. I'm like, are you kidding me?
There's no
People
need.
have been offered. If it sounds too good to be true, it's not true.
Yeah. You guys have to be very wary. You know, that's why the HUD counseling agencies is the best way to go. Even if you get like a notice in the mail and you just want, you know, us to look at it, that's what we're here for. You know, we'll look at the notice, see if it's legit or not, and be able to advise you. You know, but you have to be, there's so much going on right now, so much fraud and scams. And we've even been on webinars regarding that, you know, because there's always somebody that's trying to figure out a way to make it big with some disaster. And this is considered a disaster right now, COVID-19.
I know New York State Department of Financial Services is actually encouraging people to check their credit report.
Yes.
Yes. They put out noticing that everyone and anyone just pull their credit report and look at it.
Yeah, because you see if there's any fraud on it.
Yeah. Annualcreditreport.com. It's a free reporting website. It's the one that first came out back in the days. It's 100% legit. You can pull your credit on there weekly now instead of yearly, and you can keep an eye on your credit. It doesn't give you a credit score, but you don't have to worry about the credit score. All you want to do is make sure everything's being on your credit report, that everything is accurate. And it's very important that there's not anything there. I'm sorry?
What's that website again?
The website is annualcreditreport.com. All one word, annualcreditreport.com. And they're going to ask you very specific questions to make sure that you're the person.
Yeah.
So once you put in your private information, your social, your address, your name, it's then going to ask you, in 1965, did you have a car loan with Toyota, 5-star? You know, and then you're thinking,
Exactly.
did I have a car? So you would pick none of the above if you didn't even have a car, because they try to trick you with those questions because they really want to make sure it's you that's accessing that credit report. But it's a great website. I give it to all our clients when we meet with them, annualcreditreport.com. Google it. Go in there, set up your account. You get to go to all 3 credit bureaus, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. You can also go individually.
Does that affect your credit score? Because I know
Nope.
that.
Whenever you look at your own credit report, it does not affect your credit score.
No, not at all.
Your credit score is affected whenever you apply for credit. Okay, so a store, a credit card, a loan, that's when it's a hard inquiry. But when you look at it yourself, it does not affect your scores.
That's interesting. Okay, good. That's some good information. I'm just looking because people are sending me questions. So I'm looking at because we're providing a lot of great information. Someone said that they're not providing, if you go into forbearance, they're not giving refinances or you can get a mortgage until you're out of the forbearance.
Correct. It makes sense because you're telling them I'm in a forbearance because I financially cannot pay my mortgage. There's no way they're going to be like, okay, so let's refinance you. So what? So that you don't pay the new mortgage payment? It wouldn't make sense to a lender to refinance you if you are currently in a forbearance. That's why if you're going to be in a forbearance, make sure that it's because you actually cannot make those payments. And if you want to refinance down the line, that little remark can affect it if you're in a forbearance. Just keep that in mind. So if you can make your mortgage payment, guys, make it, because in the long run, that's the best option.
So you mentioned that, so for instance, you applied for forbearance, you received forbearance in month 1. At month 2, you were, I guess, rehired, or you went back to your job and you're able to pay that mortgage payment. what do you do? Do you pay what you owe and then
Just call the bank, tell them you can start making your mortgage payment and start making them.
Yep, and you got,
No, just don't send the check like.
no, and you're gonna have to pay for that month. You gotta pay that month you didn't pay. You're gonna, if you wanna get out of the forbearance, you have to pay that payment plus the new month payment. So just be aware of that. That's the only way they take you out of the forbearance plan.
so you have to pay the escrow, the interest, all that.
The full payment. To be out of forbearance, you have to make your full fees.
And put the loan back to be
Forbearance.
in arrears. Mhm.
Okay. It's interesting because, like you said, a lot of companies are doing this. Even one of my credit cards offered to me, like, and I didn't need it, but like it popped up and said, "Oh, are you affected by COVID-19?" I said, "Oh, what does that mean, affected?" And they're like, "Oh, well, you can defer your payments." But they said the interest still there.
It will accrue. On that and credit cards, that interest will accrue.
Yeah.
Not on the forbearance for a mortgage. It's different.
Yeah.
You have to bring it current.
Yeah.
That way they take you off forbearance.
Yeah, but for credit cards, that interest is accruing. So you'll see, even on Credit Karma, a lot of people use Credit Karma. You'll see that, you know, you didn't make the payment, but your account, and you didn't use the card, but your account went up like $20 or $30 because that's the interest that accrued was still put into the card.
That interest will get you.
It does, especially on a credit card. Usually those interests are over 20%.
I learned that at a young age. I used to be around in college when they gave out the credit card. You come to college.
Oh, yeah, the free T-shirt if you apply.
Exactly. Yeah. I was around.
Free T-shirt.
Yeah, I learned hard.
Definitely.
But definitely, I'm just waiting for any more questions. There's no, for the forbearance, there's no like penalty per se, like, or no charge for the forbearance. Like, for instance, you know, you're out of the 6 months, you pay back. Is there any additional like forbearance charge or COVID-19 charge?
No.
You don't accrue interest, none of that. It's either put at the end of the loan or if you want to
late
pay
payments,
yourself.
nothing.
Yeah, no late fees are charged, nothing like that. That's the protection with the CARES Act. In general, just with the forbearance, that's the protection. You're not accruing, you know, any additional charges or late penalties.
Excellent. Someone asked online, when do you think the courts will open up for foreclosure counts for foreclosures?
Well, they're telling us August 31st. So we're assuming after August 31st is when they would open up.
Okay.
So if you're in foreclosure right now, just look out for that letter with a new date for a settlement conference. And if you have not reached out to a HUD certified counseling agency, we recommend it highly to see if maybe you should start a modification process, or maybe you didn't submit it right the first time and got declined. That way we can review and see if there's been a change in circumstances, things like that.
Yeah, and if you go into a settlement court, that means that you've been served. That summons and complaint needs to be answered. If you haven't answered, you had 30 days to answer if it was sent by mail, 20 days if it was given to you personally. If you did not answer it, now when you go to the settlement court, they'll give you another 30 days, but you must answer it. Otherwise, you're like waiving your rights to anything.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of non-for-profit, attorneys that work pro bono, they will help you answering the summons and complaint.
Yep.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, go ahead.
No, I said Maria works directly with attorneys and that are pro bono and help our homeowners through the settlement conferences and things like that. So it's important that you guys have the right resources. Don't be paying someone thousands of dollars who says,
no, please, that's money you put towards your mortgage.
Yes. Yeah, no, you shouldn't have to go through that. With a HUD certified counseling agency, along with the services that are being provided for free, should hopefully help you get what you need and not have to come out of pocket. Because if you have thousands of dollars to pay that attorney, you should put that towards your mortgage.
And that's the problem. And I'm not saying attorneys, all of them, but some attorney, even if it's not an attorney, it could be somebody that's working under an attorney's name, but has his own little business aside. He might tell you, I will guarantee you a 2%.
Mm-hmm.
No, nobody can guarantee you anything unless it's the investor of your loan. Mm-hmm. By investor, meaning Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, FHA, Deutsche Bank, anything. Mm-hmm. New York Mellon. nobody can get, the only one that can say what you're going to get, it's them.
Yeah.
So whatever person that tells you, I will guarantee you, put your skates and run.
Yeah. Yeah. Go the other way.
Like we mentioned before, there's a lot of scams out there.
Too many.
Too many. So we got to be smart. And definitely, where can someone contact the Long Island Housing Partnership?
You can call us. We have a great website. Go to the website first. All our information is on our website because we're working 50% from home. Our office is open, but at a limited capacity. But if you go on our website, www.lihp.gov, .org. So lihp.org has all our information on there. And you can definitely, or you can call the office because there are people that pick up the phone in the office. And the number there is 631-435-4710. But the website, it's a great tool. We're on social media. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter. Long Island Housing Partnership. We always post events there, information. It's also a great source. But we are open. We're open for business. We've been open this whole time. We've been working from home. Thank God we had the resources to be able to work from home and still continue to help our clients. So we're definitely here and ready to help anyone who needs it.
And definitely, I encourage everyone to reach out to their elected officials. Well, not me, because I'm on board. I already contacted one, but in general, reach out to your elected officials on a state and federal level, so that you're advocating for some type of mortgage and foreclosure relief for homeowners. There's a great conversation that's happening about tenants and rent. And
important that you do that.
Yeah, we go on a call every Friday that talks about that.
Exactly. And so, we need to do the same thing for mortgage and foreclosure assistance. So I'm encouraging everyone to reach out, even if you don't need the assistance, but tell them that, your neighbor that you may not know needs the assistance, and we need to do something on federal and state level to help homeowners.
Correct.
The last CARES Act actually didn't allow us to take monies allocated from the federal government and use it for property tax relief, which is unfortunate. And so, the federal government is not really helping us here, in New York State, especially on Long Island. They did the SLOP deduction, they took that away. So, we've been hurting ever since. So really, being a loud voice and contact your elected officials to advocate for homeowners is something that I think anyone can do and everyone should do.
Yeah, it's very important. There's a lot of homeowners on Long Island. There's a lot of us that have been affected by COVID-19. There's definitely assistance out there with the HUD certified counseling agencies. Don't be scared to call. Don't be scared to reach out to whoever you can't pay, because there's a lot of services out there. There's some people that are prideful that feel, they shouldn't reach out, but reach out because everyone else is reaching out. So you should be able to take advantage of those services as well.
And any last words, Maria?
No, I think we went over, as Michelle said, if anybody has any more questions or everybody has a specific case. Even if our houses are the same, our situation is not the same. Oh, because my neighbor did this, don't listen to your neighbor, to your family member. That's the worst advice you can ever get. Reach out to us. We will answer you within 24 hours. There's no stupid questions.
Yes, I agree.
That's one thing that people have to make sure. There's no, I feel such a stupid question. It's not a stupid question. It's your question. It's important.
Yeah. And we're also bilingual in Spanish. So, for any of...
If you couldn't tell by my accent.
Would you like to say anything in Spanish? Any information for our viewers? You can always clip it and be able to put it up so that they know that there's...
Dale, Michelle.
¿O tú quieres que yo hable español? Los clientes que están ahí, que están dueños de casas, que están teniendo dificultades con sus hipotecas, por favor, nos llaman, no pueden, la información la van a poner ahí. Si así nosotros lo podemos ayudar, si necesitan una mortificación o si necesitan cualquier otra ayuda, hablar con el banco, nosotros podemos hablar con ellos, pero estamos aquí para ayudar. Hay mucha asistencia, pero si usted no sabe esa asistencia, nosotros lo podemos ayudar. All right. Are you going to put up, should I put up any, I don't know if you're going to put up our information in the end, or
Yes, definitely. I'm gonna make sure that the links that you showed and the numbers that you provided are in the comments for anyone who's interested. In addition, we're gonna link your name once the video is over, so that people can just click and go directly to your Facebook page. In addition, all our videos and all our webinars that we host in our office is on our YouTube page, so anyone can just Google and those videos on our YouTube page. And we're just going to disseminate the information. We really appreciate it. We know that Long Island is primarily homeowners, so we really need to start focusing and galvanizing and providing information to our constituents regarding what we can do to empower our homeowners.
Definitely, yeah, and like Maria said, there's no stupid question. Reach out if you feel you're gonna, you went through your emergency fund already and you're still out of work. It's a great time to reach out, get on that forbearance plan to give you time to be able to get back to work or get back on your feet. And we're here to assist in that. And we're open for business. So you can reach us through our website. You can reach us through the phone. We get back to you pretty quickly. So we all working from home and in the office. So we have access.
That's excellent. Really thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for providing this service through the pandemic. Really,
thank you for inviting us.
Yeah.
We did a workshop, I guess a couple of years ago, probably 2 years ago, regarding mortgage foreclosure and other assistance, and you guys were great. So you've been in the trenches, you've been out there, so we appreciate everything that you do. You're really a credible voice in the Long Island community.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So definitely we are going to wrap this up, and we appreciate everyone, and once again we thank the Long Island Housing Partnership for their information and the services that they provide. So please visit them at www.lihp.org for additional information. And if you have any other questions, concerns, or comments for our office, you are welcome to call 516-599-2972 or email us at solagism@nynassembly.gov. Once again, Maria, Michelle, thank you. Stay safe.
Thanks for having us.
Great service, and we
It's a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us.
I stopped the stream, so thank you so much.
Stay safe.
Yeah, you provided such a great information. Really, thank you.
Thank you.
No, it was good. It was good. I'm glad there were some good questions there.
Yeah, a lot of engagement. People were on and just watching it and giving comments. So that's
And I'm sure people that will watch it again, they will have some more questions. Just shoot to us. There's no problem. We'll answer them.
Definitely. We'll send that information to you. But really, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye.